going, guys? Welcome to my first official YouTube video that I will be uploading to this YouTube channel. I did upload a time-lapse video earlier on this week, but that was just my trial video. So this will be my first official one. I'll be talking about what I'm doing today with this vehicle. Because you guys may have questions about that time-lapse video. I'll be putting the link of the video in the description on the bottom, so make sure you look out for that. So essentially, vehicle came in, ticking noise, has been pre-diagnosed from the dealership for having a ticking noise, which they recommended. Checking the push rods and the valve spring-loaded lifters. But basically, this ended up being broken when we were digging into it, which obviously, before that, got to see this guy. Beautiful. Everybody knows what this is. If you've ever owned a Chevy, you know exactly what this means. So for those that don't, I'll go ahead and be explaining that. The broken valve lifter causes the push rod to get bent when the lobe goes up, and unfortunately causes damage to the actual lobe of the camshaft, which therefore makes it not a usable component. Our brand new camshaft, so we'll go ahead and be doing an unboxing video of this here right now. So let's see what this looks like. Shiny. No pitted lobe on this one, brand new, so this is what it looks like right out the box. So we'll go ahead and be doing the installation procedure with the installation time-lapse video of this now going back on now that we have new components. As you can see here, I have my push rods, my valve lifters, and my rocker arms soaking in oil just so they're ready to go. Minimizes ticking at first startup when everything gets put back together. So stay tuned and hope you enjoy. Here we begin with removing the AC condenser, the radiator, and core support assembly. Make sure you remove the AC refrigerant, which is the R1234YF. Next, we're removing accessories, which include AC compressor, alternator, water pump, and intake manifold, along with both stretch belts and serpentine belt. We also begin by removing the flange bolt for the exhaust manifold on the bottom side and remove exhaust manifold. So the fun part begins when the crank pulley bolt did not want to break loose. A few of us took a nice whack at it with no success. So we ended up using a torch to heat it up and remove the bolt. Next, remove timing cover. In order to do that, you also have to drop the oil pan as well. On the bottom side, remove oil cooler lines and transcooler lines, unplugging electronic rack and pinion connectors and front differential connectors. Remove axle flange bolts from both sides, passenger and driver, and then push them up and out of the way so you can drop the front diff. I asked some friends to help me out just because the trans jack was a little shaky. Once you drop that, the oil pan is easily accessible and easy to drop. Back up top, removing the valve covers from both passenger and driver side. We have to look at the timing marks and the valves to make sure we can properly get top dead center before starting to remove the rocker arms. Once we had the valve covers off, we did do a quick check and we found our culprit, or started to find the location of our culprit, seeing there that the rocker arm is extremely loose on that one valve while all the other ones are nice and tight. I like to pull out the rocker arm and push rods one by one just so I can be able to inspect it and be able to find something like this. Bent push rod. So only one push rod was bent during the removal of both sides, passenger and driver side. So I just continued on and went ahead and removed the heads from both sides. So if you're just taking a quick look inside, you can see the camshaft lobe is dull, and then this one is kind of shiny. So yeah, we know that this one actually has had some damage to it. Here is the broken spring-loaded valve lifter. You can see the roller there is pitted, so we can confirm that we have found our culprit. Remove the driver's side head and valve lifters. Remove CMP bolt and timing chain assembly. Last but not least, remove camshaft cover plate. The bolts are actual Torx bits, so make sure you don't lose those. last but not least, carefully pull out the camshaft. So here it is, what it looks like with almost everything gutted out, minus the pistons and the crankshaft. A little do not touch sign there. So just a close-up look at the actual camshaft itself. You can see that pitted one there, the broken spring-loaded valve lifter, and the roller there is all pitted. You can see the broken sleeve in there. And then here I am just getting everything ready, opened up all the new parts, push rods, rocker arms, valve lifters, just letting them all soak. Now going ahead and installing everything back in reverse order using thread locker for the camshaft cover plate, and then putting the timing chain bolt sprockets back on there and making sure that everything is lined up 100%. Install the camshaft oiling manifold up top and torque down to spec. So here I am getting the valve lifters ready for reinstallation. Make note that they are side orientated for the passenger side and the driver's side. If you're not 100% aware, there are notches on the bottom of the valve inserts. As you can see here, the notches on the bottom left and bottom right of that. Keep note of that. Alright, so real quick, I just want to talk about the head gaskets. A lot of people know what they are. I just want to kind of touch base with it. Basically, the purpose of the head gasket is to kind of seal the block in the head from any combustion to be leaking out, or any coolant from the coolant passages, and or in this scenario, oil from going through from the valve lifters to the push rods, etc., etc. This is just what the old one looks like after it's been installed and taken off. Unfortunately, cannot reuse. So here is a new one, brand new. So this is what you consider an MLS type head gasket, which is MLS stands for multi-layer steel gasket. And this one appears to have 5 layers, so a 5-layer steel head gasket, which will be being used for the reinstallation of the 6.2 of the year, which is cheater right there, 6.2. And we will go ahead and install this part next and continue moving forward. Here we are putting the heads back on. I'm just going to go ahead and let the video play for a while. Everything's just going back in reverse order, and then we'll get to the torquing sequence of the heads in just a moment. We are at the torque down procedure for the heads, so I'll go ahead and get started with that. I'll be using a snap-on digital torque wrench. Belongs to my boy Mikey. He just got it back in from service a couple days ago. As you can see here, 1/24/22, so it just got serviced beginning of this year. So go ahead and be using this to do the torque down procedure. The heads call for 59 foot-pounds of torque. So I got the digital torque wrench set to 60 foot-pounds, as you can see there on the screen. So I'll go ahead and get started on torquing this down. There is a sequence to torquing on the heads. There are 10 bolts total. Start from the center, you work your way out. The second pass that we're doing is going to be an additional 90-degree turn, and then the third and final pass would be 60-degree turn. So we'll go ahead and get that started now. There you go. The specialty bolt one with the Allen head. You haven't seen it. This last bolt up here takes a 1/2-inch Allen head to torque down with. And there it goes. And just because I'm already here, this is my torque wrench. It is also a snap-on torque wrench. It was gifted to me by my father. Crazy thing about it is that it has a, I don't know if you can see it, but it has a signature mark on there from 1980. Someone engraved 1980 on there a long time ago. I've had this torque wrench for about, what, 9 years now. I like this one just for the clicking sound effect that it does. This is what I'm used to with torque wrenches, so I just want to do this so you guys can see what it sounds like when you use a traditional torque wrench. It's set to 60 foot-pounds, and it does that. That clicking lets you know that it is torque to spec. After giving it the final torque down, we move on to going ahead and putting the oil pump back on. It goes right over the timing chain. And once we have that bolted on, we go ahead and install the oil pan. I recommend that the final pass be done by hand and you torque them down to the final torque spec as recommended by the manufacturer to prevent any possible leaks. Back to the front, we have the timing cover to put back on. We went ahead and grabbed some AC Delco OEM silicone for the timing cover. The oil pan has a gasket, so no need for silicone on the bottom. So went ahead and put the timing cover back on, torqued it down to spec. And the camshaft position sensor goes back on. Back at the top, we start putting the push rods in one by one, making sure they're seated all the way back to the bottom of the valve lifters. And then we continue going forward by finger tightening the rocker arms on each push rod, making sure that the tip of the push rods is on the seating position of the bottom of the rocker arm. Same with the valve on the front side of it. Mental note that there is a proper seating position for the rocker arm as well, as you have guide marks on the sides where the bearings are at for the rocker arm to ensure proper seating. I'm going ahead and using this torque wrench right here, so let's see what this one sounds like when you actually torque it down. I actually have the very first rocker arm tightened down as we speak right now, so just so you guys can hear what this sounds like when it actually goes off and sets the correct torque spec. That's what it does. Okay, as I said, there is a specific torque sequence for the rocker arms. It is where the timing marks, camshaft, and the crankshaft are at the 12 o'clock. You do certain ones on the driver and passenger side. For example, 1, 3, and 7 are the intake only side, and on the 2, 4, 6, you're looking at just probably only doing the exhaust sides on that side. Full 360 to where the 12 o'clock marks line back up, and then you do the opposite ones that you didn't do the first time, and then you do the final torque down. And here I am turning the crank all the way so the timing marks line back up at the 12 o'clock mark once again, and then I continue on with the other valves on the torque sequence. Okay, so you got your torque sequence done. So going over, looking up our timing marks, as you can see, both white marks are at the 12 o'clock.
The key, which is the locking key for the crank pulley, is at a 1230 mark, and as you can see, the rocker arms, those little slits right there, they're almost fairly even all the way around. A couple of them were moved just because they were under load, meaning compressing the spring down, so you will get a couple of those. It'll be a little bit off, just like that one is, but for the most part, all of them are 100% straight, meaning that they are seated 100% properly onto the head. So here I am oiling up everything, just so I can do a crank start, and just kind of see if I can manually rotate the engine with the starter and check for movement. Alright guys, so in this point of the video, we are actually going to be testing the rocker arm system, making sure that everything is good. Everything has already been torqued down to 22 foot-pounds. I already dumped oil down all the rocker arms and valves on both sides of the heads. So go ahead and we're going to watch and check the functionality of these rocker arms. Cranking. All of them have movement. Should be good to go. And once we've made sure that we have movement all the way around, no pinging, no crazy noises coming from the rotations of the valves and pistons and all that, it is safe to say that we are go ahead to put everything back on. As right there, you can see me putting the high fuel pressure pump back on, the fuel lines, valve covers, so all the accessories. So for now on, I believe I'll just let the video play till I need a comment again. Enjoy. Alright guys, the moment of truth is here. Cold turkey startup. Haven't even primed it, haven't even tested it. What's the point of being on YouTube if you don't do live? So let's go.
breeze starting to go away a little bit. Yeah, it's quieting down. A little starting to get up in the noise. Everyone's starting to get noise. Voice. Alright guys, the time is here, the vehicle is done, and it is ready for delivery. Thanks to you guys for watching my very first episode on this YouTube channel. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a thumbs up, like, subscribe, hit that notifications button on, and go ahead and share this page with your friends, and hopefully I'll start getting more product, or more content, I should say, flowing through this channel here shortly and soon. So if you did, go ahead and do that. I just want to do a quick little shout out and thank you to my friends that helped me out kind of along with this and the little hiccups that I had. Jordan, Mikey, Nick, my friend Chris, and whoever else was involved. So thank you guys for helping out and making this video possible. Other than that, lots and lots of stuff that I learned on these newer model GM vehicles and engines. So now I know for the next time, man. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode. What do you think?
Nice, dude. Now smooth. Back to its original for sure. Yeah, dude, I dig it. Thanks a lot, man.
No problem.
I was telling them before, I had a good ticking sound from the other side too.
Okay.
And so the left side's the one that went out, right, with the valve. So now it's nothing, no ticking at all on either side. So it was a ticking time bomb for sure waiting to happen. So glad you guys took care of all of it, man.
Great. I'm glad I was able to help out and get that situated for you. Happy camper too? Happy traveling?
Yeah, it's